ask for money, and she's always saying she's broke. And my sister, every letter she wrote my mom, the second sentence was, "Does anybody have some money? Because I'm broke." And we just laughed. And so I gave her, she thought that was funny when she read those, but when I gave her journal, she was reading the journal, and she said, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "What?" And she said, "I hate frogs. I hate frogs." But really, she loved frogs as a kid, but that was a part of her that she didn't remember. She would take hikes, as a kid, and these are things, and I sat there, and when I told her daughter, I said, it's a tipping point, and we have to find that point, and it's going to be in her journal from when she enjoyed life, and she lived it expressively, and, she followed her dreams, and she let those things be her guide to that point when she felt like she had to start doing something, a certain way. And for her, it was when my parents, she was the oldest, and my parents, they kept having children. They kept having children. They had to work, and so she had to take on that motherhood, even though she didn't have any children, biological children at that point. And she had to take on a responsibility, so she became the more serious one. And so the things, like she sort of gave up being a child and lost a lot of her childhood, and those are the things that she, kept trying to do with her kids. And I told my niece, until she can return back to where she was and being able to, have different perspectives, you're going to always have, you're going to always bump heads. And my niece said, you're right. She said, now, you just reading a few excerpts from my mom's journal, it helps me understand her a little more. So I think a lot we're missing that understanding, and you have to have that understanding. And my mantra, something I've lived by forever, is this: understanding is overcoming. And I believe that when you understand a situation, it's easier to overcome it.
I know you've already given me an hour. I just have about 4 more questions, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So one of them is, how do you define family?
Family. I describe family as an unbroken circle. It's a circle where you can get, it's where you need, it has to be like that foundation, some place where you can go and get recharged. So, I think you can get family, they embody love, strength, courage, prosperity, health, but I don't feel that family is limited to your bloodline.
And
it's a village of people who care and can always be there for you, be it physical, spiritually. That's my idea of family.
Another question is, what conversations have you had with your daughters about their identity?
Well, my daughter, she never really talked a lot before. Now, I think she's starting to open up a little, and I know college has a lot to do with it. When you go off to school, you become more enlightened, and you're exposed to a lot more, and that's normally when a lot of people start trying to figure themselves out. So I haven't had a lot of conversations with her at all.
Okay. To what extent has the race or the gender of your child influenced how you parent? Let me put it this way. Are there specific lessons that you give them about being a black girl?
I do. Even though I don't try to control who she is and what she does, I do let her know, I make known the stereotypes and let her know that, there are certain people that are going to stereotype you no matter what. So, this is what's expected when you go to these certain places or when you engage with these certain people, so that she'll know what to expect and that she'll, be able to manage it.
So what is something about motherhood that no one ever told you but you wish that they did?
I think that it's a give and take, and that you have to have that balance. It's a give and it's a take. Like, I always feel like, and I see this more with my younger children, I always feel like I have to be there for them. But sometimes, our children, they're our energy, and that's who recharges us. So, like, a lot of times I'll get tired because my day is very consumed. So I'll get up in the morning and it's getting them ready, and then I go to work, and I work from 8 to 5, and then I get off at 5, and by the time I make it to their daycare, it's time to pick them up by 6. And then it's doing homework or cooking, and by the time I finally wind down, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I don't have any me time. I don't have any time, left. And there have been moments that, and I've needed it for, my daughter, the youngest, she'll just come and she'll sit and she'll smile. She's so affectionate. She's a hugger. And it's like that, just that, sometimes it helps me for, it helps me recharge to do what I need to do. And I think with my parents, when they were tired, it was like they came home and you just go to your room and you be quiet. Like, you don't come out. And that's why I feel like they didn't share that with me, but I think it's important to engage with your children, even if it's for those silent moments when you're just sitting there and you're just gazing, or you're sitting and you're just holding them. Like, I didn't nurse my oldest daughter, but I nursed my 2 youngest daughters. And I remember having issues, like, when I was nursing, producing milk. And my doula, she was like, well, just hold them. Sometimes you don't have to be feeding them, just hold them. And me being able to just hold them and be in the stillness of them, I don't know, it just gave me that energy. And I was producing so much milk I could have sold it on eBay, but it was like just being still and realizing that, everything doesn't require an action. Sometimes, it just requires that stillness.
And what questions haven't I asked you that you think I should be asking about Black motherhood?
Maybe, how does Black motherhood differ from motherhood? What makes Black motherhood different than just motherhood?
And what would your response be to that?
Well, as a black mother, you have to anticipate the things that your child is going to experience. You look at the world, like I said, you're going to be that protector, you're going to be that nurturer, so you need to scan. So like with the Black Lives Matter, we know that our males, they're subject to search. They're subject to profiling. So you want to make yourself aware of these things and then be able to show and articulate, to your children how they can handle and manage those things without giving up their identity and being who they are, but how to manage it.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about, well, before I ask you that question, what
like
prompts you? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, and I feel like with a lot of other races, so like Caucasians, it's like a lot of their children are born with that entitlement, or they feel like because of this, they're going to automatically have this. And so I think that's the difference, is we have to prepare our children for the journey, and some of them, they can send their children on the journey knowing that they're entitled to certain things.
Mm-hmm. And what was it about this study that prompted you to participate, that made you want to participate?
A few reasons. One is I feel like black motherhood is important. Two, I feel like the education of a black woman is